Here's a clip from the Southwestern Lead app.
Studies show that optimists not only live longer, but tend to be more successful in their careers and in business. One person that I've been really inspired by recently is Bert Jacobs, one of the co-founders and CEO of the brand Life is Good. And he has a really inspiring video and interview that he did with CNBC, where he talked about first 5 years of their business with Life is Good. They weren't very successful. Him and his brother, who had started together, were living out of their van and literally selling the t-shirts door to door on college campuses. And he said on days that they went out and made a sale, they considered those good days. And on days that they went out and didn't make a sale, they considered those learning days. A lot of similarities there, but he said every time that they didn't sell something, they usually learned something from it, and they were able to change and adapt their style and grow from those experiences, and over time built their brand. But he said one thing that they kept in common throughout the whole thing was their disposition of optimism. He said people often say, well, now that you've built your business and you're successful, I'm sure life actually is good. And he said, no, life was good back then. And we had the optimistic disposition. He said, pessimism is unhealthy and dangerous. Realism is boring and bland, and there's no room for innovation there. He said, optimism is where creativity and imagination step in. And the point of this video is to help you realize that if you feel like you're on the hamster wheel of work, just kind of churning and burning and not really getting any traction, yes, there might be some technical tweaks that you can do, just like Bert mentioned. They tweaked things as they were going throughout their process and learned and improved from every sale. But most importantly, what is your disposition? What kind of headspace do you have about the work? Have you gotten into a slump where you just work for the sake of work, but you've forgotten to expect results? Because remember, we have to balance that. I always talk about letting go of attachment, but that doesn't mean we don't expect good things to happen. As the balance goes, expect the best and prepare for the worst, but expect the best. And as crazy as that sounds, when you expect good things to happen, we tend to draw it into our life. In the video, Bert says that with skydiving, they say one of the things that you should never look at are the telephone poles. He said, because if you look at the telephone poles, you'll head straight for them. So in life, we need to make sure we're not looking at the telephone poles. If you're pouring energy into what you don't want, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, you're going to attract more of what you don't want. Both because of what the metaphysical aspects of it, the way that the world works and the universe, but also for the physical aspects of it. When you have low expectations, our bodies, our tone of voice, our body language, everything about us, our way of being, tends to reflect those low expectations. When you have high expectations and high level of confidence, it reflects that as well. And we all know that people follow confidence. You have to ask yourself, where is your level of expectation? And if it's anything but high, then we need to make some adjustments. Now, why don't we keep that expectation? The answer is real simple. We either don't believe we can, or we're trying to shield ourselves from getting hurt. But as the saying goes, it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. Well, I think it's better to have expected and lost than to never have expected at all. So it's not about keeping expectations low so you're not disappointed. That is a recipe for average. That is a recipe for mediocrity. It's about learning to fight, to maintain high levels of expectation, even when the reality is not reflecting it. Maintaining a belief that everything's going to continue to work out when everything in life is pointing to the opposite. How much can I believe? How long can I believe that it's going to work out? And that was a game. How long can I continue to believe even when the evidence isn't there? And that's how I chose to maintain expectancy. So however you choose to do it, it doesn't matter. But I promise you, it's better to have expected and been disappointed than to never have expected at all. The important thing is, of course, letting go of attachment to whether it works out or not. And a great way to do that is what Mort Utley says when he was in the insurance business. And he said that it took 3 people. First 2 would say no, and the third one bought. So he said, there was that time where he was in an office and somebody refused him and said, no, thanks. And he said, you know what? I want to thank you, sir. There's 3 people in my business. The first 2 will say no, and the third one will say yes. And you're my second no for the day. So you just brought me one more no closer to a yes. And then he left, and that guy ended up calling him back in and buying. So that's the mentality we get to have, to maintain high expectations that life is working for you. And if you can really begin to believe that, guess what? Life will begin to prove you right. Just like in the skydiving example, if you're looking at the telephone poles, you'll fly towards it. If you're looking at your landing zone, you'll fly towards that. So what we put our energy towards, what we put our attention on grows. Y'all remember your mind is a garden analogy. If our mind is a garden and water is our focus, what are we choosing to water? Are we watering the weeds, or are we watering the flowers and plants that we want to grow? So if you continue to water your positive expectations, life will begin to present you with that as a reality. It happens twice, once in our head and once in real life. So if you expect good things to happen and then it begins to happen in real life, guess what will happen to your expectation? It goes up, because evidence starts working for you. It starts building momentum in the right direction, and then your expectancy just continues to build and build upon that. I'm the best at X, Y, or Z. Whatever you're trying to build expectation in, keep that belief up, and I promise you that over time, things will begin to work in your favor, and then the expectancy and confidence will come even more naturally. Get better at being optimistic, because optimists live longer and they live happier lives, and they end up getting better results in life because of it.
Southwestern Lead is an international leadership program that helps you build skills, gain confidence, and discover new opportunities. With professional coaching, a world-class digital learning platform, and certifications that will enhance your resume or application, Lead sets you apart. We'll show you how to turn success principles into success habits through small group training, one-on-one coaching, and guided action plans to help you apply what you're learning. It takes more than academics to reach your goals. See what one of America's oldest leadership training programs can do for you. Visit southwesternlead.com.